Ever wonder what memes looked like before the internet? Like way before? Think togas, sandals, and giant marble buildings. That's right, we're talking about ancient Rome, and believe it or not, they were absolute masters of roasting each other right on the city walls. Forget Twitter threads, the Romans had graffiti. And we're not just talking Gaius was here. The walls of cities like Pompeii were the original social media feed, filled with gossip, savage burns, and what we would totally call memes today. So, how did a Roman throw shade? Well, they used a few classic formats. First up, the political roast. Politicians were fair game, just like they are now. Archaeologists have found graffiti making fun of candidates running for office. Imagine walking to the market and seeing a scrawled message on a wall saying, "All the petty thieves want Vatia to be ideal." Ouch. That's a first-century diss track right there. It's short, it's brutal, and it gets the message across to everyone walking by. Then there was the personal drama. Relationship problems? The Romans put it all out there. There are inscriptions like, "Successus, the weaver, is in love with Iris, the slave girl of the innkeeper. She doesn't care for him, but he begs her to have pity on him." His rival wrote this, "Bye." Can you feel the second-hand embarrassment? That is pure, ancient Roman tea spilling. The rival didn't just expose Successus's crush, he signed off with a sassy, "Bye." It's the ancient equivalent of dropping the mic. Let's talk about the formats. The Romans loved a good caricature. They'd draw unflattering pictures of people they didn't like. One of the most famous and controversial pieces of graffiti is the Alexamenos graffito. It shows a figure looking up at a person with a donkey's head on a cross with the caption, "Alexamenos worships his god." This was likely a way to mock an early Christian named Alexamenos. While it's offensive, it shows how they used simple, powerful images to make a point, just like a modern meme. It's a visual punchline. They also had their own versions of inside jokes. Many graffiti reference gladiators like they were modern-day sports superstars. You'd see things like Celadus the Thracian, the heartthrob of all the girls, or Crescens, the master of the net, who snares the girls by night. These were the celebrities of their time, and scribbling their names on a wall was like tagging your favorite influencer today. It showed you were in the know, and it wasn't just about being mean. Some graffiti was just weirdly relatable, like the person who simply wrote, "I've been here," or the one that says, "We two dear men, friends forever, we're here. If you want to know our names, they are Gaius and Aulus." It's this incredibly human desire to leave a mark, to say, "I existed." It's the ancestor of every check-in and status update. What's fascinating is that these weren't just done by rebels or troublemakers. Evidence suggests everyone was doing it, from poets to politicians, from soldiers to slaves. The walls were a public forum, a place for free expression in a way that's hard to imagine today. There was no delete button. What you wrote, you stood by. Or at least you hoped nobody figured out it was you. These messages were carved into plaster with a stylus, so they were meant to last. They were the permanent records of fleeting thoughts, public shaming, and declarations of love. Think about the skill and the nerve it took. You couldn't just type something out and hit send. You had to physically carve your burn into a building for the whole world to see. So, why did they do it? For the same reasons we create memes and post on social media today. To connect, to complain, to boast, to joke, and to feel like part of a larger conversation. They were sharing cultural moments and personal feelings in a public space. The technology was different, a wall and a sharp object instead of a smartphone, but the human impulse was exactly the same. The people of Pompeii had no idea a volcano was about to preserve their city and their wall scribbles for 2,000 years. They were just living their lives, laughing at politicians and gossiping about their neighbors. Thanks to that volcanic ash, we have a direct, unfiltered look into their daily lives, their humor, and their humanity. So, the next time you see a meme about a grumpy cat or a distracted boyfriend, just remember, you're part of an ancient tradition. Humans have been using simple, repeatable formats to make jokes and observations for millennia. The Romans may not have had Photoshop, but with a sharp rock and a public wall, they could create a burn that would last for ages. The original meme lords weren't online, they were on the streets of Rome. Thanks so much for hanging out and exploring the ancient world social media with me. If you enjoyed this trip back in time, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. And for more dives into the weird and wonderful parts of history, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. See you in the next video.